Well, a very good evening to you and many thanks for making time to be with us on this particular evening of the 18th of December 2023. Now, 7 days to the Christmas festivities, and like it has always been, cases of road carnages are starting to be reported across the country. Various accidents happened or occurred today morning and through the day. Now, question is, the plea should be to our drivers. May they should of course exercise caution as they drive different passengers to different routes and destinations across the country in a bid to avert such cases across the country, even as we get into the Christmas and New Year period. As of today, there was a road carnage this particular morning along the Eldoret-Nakuru highway. That coming just days after 12 people lost their lives in Kitui. But apart from that, 1.4 million students will be joining secondary schools in the beginning of the year. That is after Education CS Ezekiel Machogu did of course announce the placement results that saw at least 42,000 students join national schools. Of the 42,000, by the way, 22,000 were the majority male students compared to their female counterparts. Now that, among many other stories we've prepared for you tonight. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines.
Tonight on this spotlight, 4 people have lost their lives in a Monday morning accident along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway.
Boys, those admitted to national schools were 22,051.
The Ministry of Education has released the 2024 Form 1 placement results, placing over 1.4 million students in secondary schools. And Kenya and the European Union sign an economic partnership deal.
Many thanks for joining us this particular night. I am Ian Keitani, and our sign language interpreter is Josephine Oko. Remember, you can watch this particular bulletin live on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Now let's get going, and at least 42,000 students who sat for their KCPE exams this year will rather secured positions or slots in national schools across the country. The placement results announced today by Education CS Ezekiel Machogu will see 1.4 million students transition to different schools across the country, even as the government plans to offer scholarships to vulnerable students who scored at least 280 marks and above. Let's listen in to what Ezekiel Machogu had to say.
Receiving their results late last month, at least 1.4 million candidates have secured placement to various high schools across the country, with more male students securing slots at national schools compared to the female candidates.
Boys, those admitted to national schools were 22,051. Girls admitted to our national schools were 20,876. So the total number of boys placed comes to 717,358. The number of girls comes to 682,971. The total, therefore, is 1,400,329.
With the students set to join Form 1 early next year, Machogu lamented over students who failed to pick schools of their choice, with Kabianga and Pangani high schools being the most selected schools by the candidates.
Some candidates, despite having high scores, did not make any school choices. A total of 28,052 candidates did not make choices of schools. Among these were 683 candidates from Wanjoi sub-county in Nyandarua and 330 from Kobusiro sub-county in Pungoma County. This situation presented us with a dilemma as we sought to ensure that every candidate was placed that could enable them to continue their education seamlessly.
With the government insisting that its priority remains ensuring every child has access to education, the government is set to offer scholarships to at least 14,000 students. The Education CS, however, warned principals against adding unnecessary levies to fee structures at a time when the economy is not yet on its feet.
What that fees structure is Part of your responsibility and your main responsibility as county directors of education and the regional directors is to ensure that no principal levies anything additional. Parents are undergoing difficult financial challenges, and therefore, unless they express approval from my office, which again is not going to be there.
Machogu further cautioned principals who sell school attires for students joining Form 1 in school, terming it as a conflict of interest.
It is not the responsibility of the school principal to buy their uniform, have it in the school, and then when the parents come, they are told this is the uniform, and then this is the amount of money you are supposed to pay. That would amount to conflict. And again, it is not upon him to make some arrangement that Machogu has a shop somewhere, so he's directing parents to go to Machogu's shop.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Of course, that story was produced by one Brian Amwai. Moving forward, 4 people lost their lives this particular morning along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway. The accident occurred around 5 a.m. after a Nakuru-bound matatu belonging to Msamaria shuttle collided with a 60-seater bus. A report by the National Police Service, indicates that the driver of the Msamaria, let's just take that again. And the accident occurred around 5 a.m. this particular morning when a Nakuru-bound matatu collided with a 60-seater bus. A report by the National Police Service indicates that the driver of the Msamaria matatu lost control of the vehicle, leading to the collision. The accident occurred at the Hill Tree area along Eldoret-Nakuru Road. Now, the matatu was carrying 16 passengers at the time of the accident, which claimed the lives of the driver and 3 other passengers who died on the spot. 9 other passengers were seriously injured and are currently receiving treatment. Now, moving forward, 1 person was fatally shot while 3 others were injured, of course, during a fight between locals and Kenya Forest Service rangers over the impounding of livestock found grazing in gazetted forest in Narok, South Narok County. Now, according to the KFS, the rangers on patrol found 6 goats and 6 sheep grazing illegally within a newly planted forest without the owner and impounded them. Now, Katrin Saina tells us more.
Demanding to be given their livestock, which had been grazing illegally on the forest land, a demand that took the life of one of them.
Plan B nikani tena siamelala siamekufa Edwin akona watoto wawili siamchumba na siamwendishi.
A number of the mob with crude weapons clobbered the rangers, resulting to 1 person fatally shot and 3 others injured. Police officers from Koben Police Station and other forest rangers arrived on the scene and urged members of the public to remain calm as investigation into the matter by the DCI and DPP is underway.
Jeriot alipoteza maisha yake kupitia njia yenye haieleweki.
However, locals led by nominated MCA Jefferson Lagat, who issued a 2-week ultimatum for the culprits to be brought to book, said the deceased Edwin Cherot Koskei and the 3 others were unarmed and justice must prevail.
Tokezea kwake, maaskari wana approach hapo na punduki walikuwa wameficha, haikuwa inaonekana, na walikuwa na civilian, haikuwa inaonekana ni maaskari. Yule alikuwa anafikiria ni mtu jirani tu amaachilia mbuzi kule marako yake. Moja. Tunapatia hawa wiki ngapi? Tusikia hawa watu wamekanyaka sanduku ya kotini. Kama watakanyaka sanduku ya kotini, we will mobilize our people. Tushike matawi. Sisi wenyewe tuende kotini.
Katrin Saina, Lookuptv.
Thank you very much, Catherine Sana, for that particular story. Now, moving forward, the Interior Principal Secretary, that is Raymond Omolo, has ordered all border security officers to be trained to adjust to President William Ruto's directive, cancelling visa requirements for travelers visiting Kenya. Now, speaking during the launch of the curriculum for the training of border security on Monday, the PS noted the move was necessary to enable security personnel to navigate the complexities of managing visitors and entry of goods. He further reiterated that it was imperative to impart the frontline officers with the knowledge and skills necessary as they carry out their duties in that particular mandate.
We have just launched a curriculum on border control and security program, which has been put together by the Border Management Secretariat as well as the Kenya School of Government, with the support from our partners from the US Embassy, together with the International Organization for Migration. And this curriculum is basically meant for our frontline officers who man our points of entry and exit across all the border points. And primarily this is to equip them with the necessary tools to deal with the challenges that come with the movement, not just of people but also of goods across the border points. As we speak today, of course, you've raised the concern on the IEDs that are planted in certain parts of the country. It continues to be a challenge, but we have our security officers who are well trained to be able to deal with that. A few weeks ago, sometimes in November, we did launch a program at the Border Police Unit in Kanyonyo, where our officers constantly undergo training to be able to deal with those threats. And the assurance we are giving the country is that even though those threats remains and they exist, we are up to the task of dealing with it. And most significantly, the President did declare that Kenya is a visa-free country. We expect that everyone or everybody who is coming into the country gets in visa-free. Of course, there would be issues around security to deal with that, and part of this curriculum is to better equip our officers, not just in terms of knowing how to deal with those threats, but also to be able to facilitate those movements so that it's much more efficient.
Now on to matters economy, and President William Ruto remains upbeat. The country's economic revival is on an upward trajectory, and Kenyans will start reaping the fruits of the radical reforms his government has instituted to arrest the dwindling economy. Now, during an interview with local media stations, President Ruto says statistics from the economy experts have pointed out that Kenya will witness a 6% growth in GDP, and has assured Kenyans that the country will be food sufficient from next year. Henry Tende with more.
Yesterday night, all eyes were at State House as President William Ruto engaged journalists in an interview over an array of issues affecting the country. The rising cost of living featuring heavily as journalists probed the head of state to explain his plans to alleviate the cost of living for Kenyans.
In terms of maize,
President Ruto has told the country his administration has taken robust measures to heal the economy and that these measures are now yielding fruits.
Nataka nikuulize na Wakenya wenzangu, tumefanya lolote kupunguza gharama ya chakula? Yes, we have done major steps. The price of food items is today lower than it was a year ago. It is a fact. Lakini, of course, it's not convenient for certain people to accept.
With the country struggling with a huge ballooning national debt that is eating a huge chunk of national resources, President Ruto remains upbeat his plans and economic decisions will bring about an economic turnaround.
We've brought down inflation from 9 point something to now 6.8. Those are figures, global figures of the World Bank. Number two, our economy is growing at 5.4%. Not my figures, World Bank figures, right? In fact, they quote Kenya is the 29th fastest growing economy globally.
Referring to the elaborate measures the country has employed to boost food security,
The head of state told the country his fertilizer subsidy has increased maize production by more than 40%.
We have changed the trajectory on our staple food. Today, we are producing more in terms of maize, which is our staple food. In fact, my plan is that by next year, we shouldn't be importing maize into Kenya. We should be producing enough. This year, we have increased our production of maize by 40%.
As a majority of Kenyans continue to tell of a pinching economy, President Ruto wants the country to exercise patience as he works around the clock to effect changes. He says the country will be food sufficient next year and will stop relying on imported food.
We are importing $500 million of food into Kenya. So what we need to do, we need to pay attention to our agriculture. The reason why we have invested, and that is why in the manifesto that I sold to the people of Kenya, agriculture, modernization, mechanization is one of the big tickets that I decided that I'm going to do.
Henry Tendanyula, Lookuptv.
Well, thank you very much, Henry Tende, for that particular story. On that note, we take a short breather. We'll be back with more news items, including the debate surrounding the privatization of state parastatals. Didn't go away.
What about mambo fantastic if not scholastic? Chota kuchota na heti ya supermarket imerudi. Ukifanya tu shopping ya shilingi 1,000, wewe unaingia kwa promotion ya chota kuchota na heti ya supermarket. Watu wanaendelea kushinda ndani ya heti ya supermarket. Mwana tata kitoko. Wewe na umeshinda
nini? Yote. Hamsa. Nalala.
Karibu ndani ya heti ya supermarket uweze kuchota kwa wingi kabisa. Watu wanasema nini? Nakwambia kwamba chota kuchota. Unangoja nini?
Magari 7 za kushindaniwa, TV, fridge, microwave, shopping vouchers, school fees vouchers, instant prizes na zawadi zingine kemkem. Chota kuchota imethaminiwa na Hetias, Oven Fresh Bakery, Gigabyte, Mount Kenya Milk, Clover's Food Products, Velvet, Magic Drink, Pwani Oil, Arenco, Fruit Juice, Masterchef, Toilex, Coolsy, Mika, Wash Ultra, Philos, Prestol, Nivea, My Choice, Ushindi, Fresh Fry, Arimis Jelly, Cabernet Water, Dettol, Ketepa, Meta, Glucose, Coca-Cola, Rosy Tissue, Big Giant, Elbins, Unilever, Fresh, Unga wa Dola, Blue Band na Pasta Star. Shindano la chota kuchota linaanza tarehe 1 Disemba hadi tarehe 10 Februari mwaka 2024.
Hetia Supermarket, a world of choice.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookuptv, your official SME media partner.
Many thanks for staying with us. We move forward, and President William Ruto, of course, President William Ruto has defended his move to privatize 11 state corporations, saying the government is incurring losses by running them. Now, Ruto, who was speaking during a roundtable interview with journalists at State House in Nairobi, said privatization will allow the said state agencies to generate revenue for the government.
With the privatization debate taking center stage in the country as sections of Kenyans move to court to stop the move of the privatization of government agencies, President William RUTO has come out to defend his move, saying the government parastatals are not being productive and privatization is basically to commercialize the agencies.
The intention is to commercialize. The intention is to have a mechanism, a strategic investor, so that we need to make it a true conference facility. And if we make it a truly conference facility, it will give us more than 3 billion shillings a year. Today, we are getting 29 million. If you ask any ordinary Kenyan, would we rather continue getting 29 million? Would we do a strategic investment?
A move that a section of Kenyans have welcomed, saying it will boost the country's economic fortunes.
We not only want to invest or get a strategic investor for KICC, I am also going to get a strategic investor for Bomas of Kenya. We need to build another conference facility in Kenya, in Bomas of Kenya, and we need to build maybe 2-3 hotels in Bomas of Kenya. It is what is going to change the fortunes of our country, especially the space around tourism.
The president last night explained that the move is intended to replenish the state coffers as tax revenues continue to fall short of targets at a time when Kenyans have been taxed to the last dollar.
I brought policy and I said, we are going to make sure that every government asset gives money to the shareholder, the government of Kenya, so that we look for additional revenue, because we cannot borrow. We have pushed Kenya enough on taxes. The only other way to raise money is to sweat our assets. Yeah? Is to sweat our assets. We must get our assets to pay us.
President RUTO stated that the country is losing billions as these agencies continue to be run by the government, giving examples of the Kenya Pipeline, KICC, and Post Bank, which he says are costing the government an arm and a leg.
There are companies like Post Bank. Every morning when we open Post Bank, we lose 3 million. In the last 5 years, we have lost 1 billion shillings every year. How much? 1 billion shillings every year. Because nobody wants to make a decision about Post Bank.
It is a case that now walks in the corridors of justice after the opposition leader went to court to stop the move, arguing that the sale of the state holdings should be subject to a referendum because of the strategic importance of the companies in the country. High Court Judge Chachamwita stopped the move, saying he was satisfied that the application raises constitutional and legal issues of public importance that require critical examination, suspending the sale until 6th February when the case will be examined on its merit. Brian Amuai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, the European Union and Kenya have signed an economic partnership agreement to boost bilateral trade in goods. Now, the partnership will see Kenya increase investment flows and contribute to sustainable economic growth. Kenya exporters have secured permanent duty-free access to the £14 trillion European Union market.
Last recall, Kenya signed an initial trade deal with the EU in the year 2016, alongside its partners in the then 6-member nation East African Community Trade Bloc. This will boost bilateral trade in goods, increase investment flows, and contribute to sustainable economic growth.
Today's agreement heralds a new era where Kenyan goods gain immediate and permanent duty and quota-free access to the European market. Over time, European goods will also gain preferential access to the Kenyan market.
President William RUTO and EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen witnessed the signing of the Kenya-EU Economic Partnership Agreement at State House, Nairobi. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and Trade Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano. This agreement targets attracting investment into innovation, capacity building, and value addition.
Together, as a region, we can benefit from the economies of scale, and Europe can equally benefit from the economies of scale.
EU President Ursula Gertrude revealed that Kenya is a global hotspot for growth, and Europe will provide the necessary agricultural machinery to boost Kenya's production capacity.
Kenya has long understood that the green transition is the way to mitigate the destructive impact of climate change and at the same time to deeply transform your economy.
Additionally, the agreement is looking forward to create jobs for the people locally and internationally.
We have successfully negotiated a framework for the delivery of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda by connecting our hard-working workers and entrepreneurs with transformative opportunities in one of Kenya's biggest export markets.
Ruga Evil, Lookuptv.
Staying with President William Ruto, who on Monday chaired a national and a county government summit at State House Nairobi. Ruto said he supports devolution as it brings development to the grassroots level.
President William Ruto today addressed the El Nino update during the 10th National and County Government Summit. Addressing the summit at State House, he said that the rains in the eastern, northeastern and coastal regions required immediate attention and the government is working towards looking for better solutions.
We have implemented far-reaching reforms in the health sector. Consequently, I recently assented to 4 crucial laws which are expected to anchor the implementation of universal health coverage, affirming our commitment to transform healthcare. Additionally, 100,000 community health promoters were deployed with the support of county governments and equipped as frontline players in delivery of preventive and promotive healthcare as opposed to the curative healthcare.
Moreover, he added that the national government will allocate a 250 million grant to remaining 29 counties for county aggregation and industrial parks development.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that our country's fortunes, to a decisive extent, are dependent on how we manage the devolution of national power and resources. Devolution actually goes to our viability as a political community, stability as a nation, and sustainability as the collective socio-economic project of the people.
The president further said that his government has made sure that no money is on to devolution by the end of the financial year and hopes Kenyans will come together to remain steadfast in unlocking the transformative promise of devolution.
I believe in the power of intergovernmental relations to anchor devolution and also facilitate national socio-economic transformation. As the apex forum of intergovernmental relations, the National and County Government Coordination Summit must be seen in this light.
Ebi Kadenyi, Lookuptv.
My faith in the power.
President William Ruto has reiterated his commitment to fostering inclusivity and protecting the rights of ethnic minorities and marginalized communities in the country. The president's remarks were conveyed by the Prime CS and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, during the International Day for Minority Rights at the Bomas of Kenya.
Me, much joy and delight to join you on this inaugural and auspicious celebration of the International Minority Rights Day. I extend my high regards to all of us who have joined in from the length and breadth of our great country and commend you for your commitment to the cause of minorities and marginalized communities. I am also happy to have toured the various exhibitions showcasing the rich and diverse cultural heritage of our minority and marginalized communities. I have had the unique opportunity to rehash the reasons behind our national clarion call of shared prosperity and why our collective consciousness underscores the concept of unity in diversity as a key pillar of our national unity. It is indeed befitting that this year's theme is recognizing, empowering, and protecting the rights of minorities and the marginalized.
Partner with the government of Kenya to support the mainstreaming of marginalized and minority affairs by providing resources and technical assistance so that also the marginalized and the minorities are taken care of. An important step to begin this transformational journey is by recognizing, packaging, and celebrating the knowledge, practice, art, and way of life and marginalized communities in this country. The celebrations, therefore, give you a unique opportunity to showcase to the rest of the country the richness of your culture and heritage through song, dance, cuisine, attire, values, and principles that have so remarkably contributed to defining Kenya's collective identity. Your dedication to cultural preservation have been pivotal in promoting tourism, environmental conservation, balanced human wildlife.
Livestock owners from Livestock owners from Isiolo and the neighboring pastoralist counties will soon find a ready market for their animals, with ongoing installation of equipment at the Isiolo Export Abattoir set to pave way for the operationalization of the facility, whose construction began 16 years ago. This and more on our news wrap.
The over 500,000 acre piece of land set aside as a fully operational habusha in Isiolo County, which has the capacity to slaughter 1,000 sheep and goats, 300 cows and over 100 camels on a single day, will also serve Samburu, Laikipia, Meru, Garissa, Wajir and Marsabit, as well as the neighboring nations of Ethiopia and Somalia.
Our systems, they are running from the slaughtering area. We have in bleeding area for both of the lines. From there, we have lines which are special for the general operations.
The railway, which was constructed 16 years ago, is now in its final stages after the partnership deal between the county government of Isiolo and the Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project for a cost of 450 million Kenya shillings.
Mostly, actually, what is remaining is things to do with software. And of course, the machine that is going to actually be used to slaughter both the small stock and also the large stock.
Kakamega Governor Fernandes Barasa now says that from next month, his government will ensure every government capitation, including the bursaries, will reach people with living with disability on time, noting that they have been disadvantaged.
Mambo ya assessment fees, medical assessment fees kwa walemavu tulitupilia mbali. Na nimeambia waziri wa afya, mulemavu ukienda hospitali kufanyiwa assessment alafu uitishwe pesa, tafadhali pigia simu gavana wako. Sawa sawa.
Church Leaders and Kirinyaga Journalists Association has called on the government to ensure protection of journalists and safeguard their rights. Speaking during Kirinyaga Journalists Thanksgiving at ACK St. John, Reverend Beatrice Njogu noted that journalists play a critical role in informing and educating the masses, and therefore their rights should be safeguarded at all costs.
And we are proud of these people when they give the information to the people who need that information. So we call upon you as the government leaders, please protect our people. They are our sons and our daughter as they serve this nation. Waheshimu wenye wanafanya kazi ya journalism, because it's part of service, and service to humanity is service to God.
Regan Lemeguran, Lookuptv.
Well, on that note, we take our second breather. We'll be back with more sports news, including Arsenal, who've been drawn against FC Porto in the UEFA Champions League. Remember, this is the first time in around 5 or 6 years since they last played in Europe. But they are looking confident. Only time will tell. We'll be back in a moment.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
Tatua sikukuu na Tatua Holiday Bonanza. Mwezi huu kuna cash money, pikipiki ni 3 za kushindaniwa. Gurumisha yako sasa hivi. Na si hayo tu, jishindie shopping vouchers kibao, jogoa Christmas daily na guaranteed vuna receipt bonus. Kila wakati unapocheza Tatua 3, huenda ukapata nafasi ya kushiriki ndani ya Tatua Bonanza Show na ujishindie shilingi $500,000 ama zawadi kem. Sikukuu hii usiwachwe nyuma. Nenda kwa M-Pesa, chagua paybill number 150 chagua namba zako 3 za bahati kati ya 0 na 9 ukifuatanisha na neno Lookuptv. Cheza na kati ya shilingi 10 hadi shilingi 1,000 na utatue sikukuu yako na Tatua Holiday Bonanza. Tatua namba 3 ushinde.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Let's get sporty now. And Italian rally driver Amos Igino has been named the winner of the 2023 Safaricom-sponsored East Africa Safari Classic Rally that ended today in Diani, Kwale County. Now navigated by Paolo Seishi, Igino, who has led the Classic Rally since day 3 of the event, clocked 14 minutes and 42 seconds to finish top in the 9-day contest, 10 minutes ahead of Kenya's defending champion Baldev Chaga, beg your pardon. Now Chris Rosenberger of Canada finished third with Kenya's Bonami Grimes and Ian Duncan settling for the 4th and 5th positions respectively. Other Kenyans in the top 15 include Fawaz Khan, who finished 10th, and Shakil Khan, who settled for the 14th position.
Successful as today, clearly, and I was in Kenya for the first time in 2012, visiting with my wife for honeymoon, and since then I fell in love with Kenya and with the Kenyan people. It feels very, very good, to be honest. We are very happy and we are ready to celebrate at the bar with the mechanics and the team. Well, with Paolo we have a great relationship, which starts way before being into the car. We are good friends in normal life. We share same values and we share some of the passions that we have. I do heard about M-Pesa platform, and I did send some money once because I was struggling. And no, I've received some money, sorry, from M-Pesa.
The platform?
It's very easy and how do you say, practical to use. Even for me that I'm a foreigner.
Some golfing action now, and Kenyan Asuya Bongo won the 6-year category junior golf tournament with a total of 117 points at the Windsor Golf Hotel and Country Club. Now, James Tino from Kenya won the 7-year category with 116 points. The 8-year category was won by Kenyan Paran Real with a total score of 114 points. Meanwhile, Munesu Shimhini from Zimbabwe was victorious in the 12-year category after securing 225 points after a vigorous playoff with Austria's Sean Widow.
Next year. So on the first day on Friday, I didn't do my best. I played 85 gross, which is 13 over par. And then on Saturday, I got a little bit better and I played 81. And then on Sunday, today, I didn't play my best again. I struggled a little bit and I went back to 85. But overall, it was a great tournament and I really enjoyed it. And I would like to thank everyone that helped and created this tournament.
Now on to matters. The UEFA Champions League and the round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League draw was held today. Arsenal will take on Portuguese side FC Porto. Reigning champions Manchester City have been drawn against Copenhagen. Spanish giants Real Madrid will play German side RB Leipzig. Now other matches to be played in the Champions League round of 16 include Inter Milan will play against Atletico Madrid. PSV Eindhoven will host Borussia Dortmund. Lazio of Italy will play Bayern Munich, while, of course, Napoli will be playing against Barcelona. Now, after being knocked out of the UEFA Champions League group stage, 8 matches have been drawn today in the UEFA Europa League knockout stages. Shakhtar Donetsk take on French side Marseille. Italian side AC Milan will battle Rennes from France. Jose Mourinho's AS Roma will face Feyenoord. Now, other matches include Braga will play against Karabakh. Benfica will host Toulouse. Young Boys will play against Sporting Lisbon, while Lens will play against Freiburg. Now, the other fixtures in that particular competition will see Feyenoord, of course, play with AS Roma and Galatasaray play against Sparta Praha. Well, that was a sporting action for you, and from that particular UEFA Champions League draw, Arsenal fans might say they have an easier draw against FC Porto, but like I always say, and like I tell Simba statehousekenya, that the UEFA Champions League is all about pedigree. It's not just about participating, something that Arsenal lack. It's been 6 years since they last played in the UEFA Champions League, but time will tell what will happen in the round of 16. We hope that they can be of course, knocked out, but it's a game of football. 90 minutes is all that matters. Now, that wraps up our bulletin this particular evening. Many thanks to everybody who made this a success. Until tomorrow, do have yourself a lovely evening. And like always, God bless.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and